Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams and their meanings. I'm Michael Sheridan. Today we have Marcy Morrison from San Diego in the hot seat. Marcy Morrison works with at-risk kids, and this came up as part of the interview while discussing and analysing her dream. I leave a lot of that information in the show today, so it's a little bit longer than normal, but it's very interesting and it's great to see what people do in our communities. So some of the interview, of course, did get clipped, so I'm going to cover some of the symbols for that before we have a look at the interview. Let's take a look. In one of her dreams, parades comes up, and Marcy is on a horse in a parade with several other people on horses too. And I discuss what that means in the interview, but just to cover it again, because I want to cover a piece that I didn't cover in the interview. So parades are about identity. We see here the St. Patrick's Day parade, and people who go to a parade or participate in it, it's all about their identity, who they are, and they either identify with the country that the parade symbolises or some other cause behind the parade. But whatever it is, we can all easily see how parades are about identity. So when we see it combined with the horses in Marcy's dream, horses symbolise a spiritual healing ability, and that's an ability to channel energy through your body and out your hands and into your client. So when we see that in the parade, it's saying to Marcy, you need to include the fact that you're a spiritual healer as part of your identity. Recognize that you've got that ability. Now, in Marcy's dream, she's actually riding a white horse. So this tells us a little bit more about Marcy. First of all, I explain what the white means in her dream in the interview, but white can also be about trying to be too perfect and being critical of yourself. So the dream, when we see this, is saying, look, you need to ease up a bit on yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. And we see why, when we're looking at the dream, why that comes up. The other thing that is interesting about being on a horse is when you consider where you are in relation to other people. So consider somebody who's standing on the ground. You're not standing on the ground. You're considerably higher than that. So it says where Marcy's position is relative to the context of the dream. So it's saying you have an elevated position, or you're entitled to an elevated position because it's part of your higher purpose, because being on the horse puts her higher up. At the end of Marcy's first dream, a guide gives her two books from a bookshelf. There's two symbols here. The first is the books. They represent a wisdom. So they say that Marcy has an innate or a natural ability to counsel people. And we can see how that would work really well with the fact that she works with at-risk kids. She also, though, from being handed two books by a guide, it means that she gets information from her guides. So she can channel her guides. And this is something that she's most likely very aware of, but maybe not something that she frequently would talk about. So all those things tied together, the healing ability, the counselling, and the ability to channel her guides, we can see how they all make sense with the work that she does. Let's have a look at the interview and get more information from Marcy.
Don't miss your chance to see Michael Sheridan live and in person, along with a host of other amazing transformational teachers at the Wisdom Soup Spirit Summit. It'll be June 2nd in Los Angeles, and tickets are available now at wisdomsoup.eventbrite.com. Listen in at the end of this interview to find out more.
So I don't know if any of your dreams are going to tell you anything new about yourself in any way. So let's have a look. So the first one, you say, I remember being at someone's house that was a palace and so beautiful. It reminded me of Alhambra in Granada. Did I pronounce that right?
Alhambra, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. You even got a little bit of Spanish accent in there. The woman who lived there, I remember her being so warm and welcoming, and she said, come with me. I want to show you something very special. And we were walking downstairs in the magical, opulent, almost theatre-looking space. Pillars, seating like a theatre. Beautiful, colourful mosaics on the walls like Alhambra. And you say, I just remember feeling so overwhelmed by the beauty and her love and warmth that I started crying. And she said, oh, good. That is why you and others come here, to release all old fears. I think, is it fears about scarcity? Because the truth is all of this is yours, you can have it all. And you said, I remember the dream, knowing that to be true and knowing that the palace isn't about me having a place, it is about having the abundance to share with others, especially at-risk youth, a sanctuary, a retreat for me and others, including the kids, to live in abundance and drink in the peace, beauty and the ability to thrive that comes from that. So a really, really nice start. She's a guide in the dream, and I take it from this dream that you're spiritual, and by the work that you do that you're always aim to be spiritual. So a guide in a dream is somebody here, like she has the authority, she's the owner of the house, but she is showing you, well, let's compare it, let's contrast it with your life. Do you live, there's no way you live in a place that's like that. And like I said, I'm going to show a picture of the place because I had never heard of it, but it's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it's like the Moroccans, the Moors actually built that there. It's giant. I've actually physically been in it. It's amazing.
And what does it mean to you? Having been there, of course, makes it more significant of a symbol. What did it mean to you when you were there? So what's strong in your dreams, by the way, is culture. I
just was in awe, just like in that dream, with all of its beauty, because they actually like hand carved like all the wood and everything, and then there's actually mosaics and everything in there, and I just had such a deep appreciation for the time and the love that actually went into creating that place. It's breathtaking, really.
Fantastic. Okay. So when you say that you knew you can have it all, but it's not about the place, it's about having the abundance, about you having abundance to share with others. Do you feel like you have abundance now? And there's two abundances. There's spiritual abundance, and there's also then material abundance.
Gosh, yeah, I do feel very blessed. Every day I really try to focus on gratitude. Like I said, the number one thing is if I'm ever having a bad day, I just say, I'm in San Diego. So I know the abundance of where I live. I have 2 children as well, 16 and 13, and we're all really healthy. So we have abundance of health. I have abundance of friendship. So there is so much abundance. Materialistically, I wouldn't say that it's overflowing. I do have that scarcity thing that I'm still overcoming, but all my needs are provided for. Am I a gazillionaire? No. But do I have everything I need? Yes.
Okay, well, then the dream is really saying that, so your project, or what you aim to do, and you can tell us a little bit about it now, is, so correct me if I'm wrong and fill in the blanks. You aim to get people passionate about what they want to do in life, who they are, and to express that. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. I help them uncover really what they're passionate about and their purpose, why they feel that they're here, and really help them tie that to the difference that they want to make in the world or their community. So yes. So
the dream is saying that this symbol, Alhambra, shows up because of the way you describe the mosaics and the pillars and the carvings. Well, in the dream you describe the mosaics. They're all about an expression of identity and a passionate expression of identity. And that's in the next dream of yours that I want to come to as well, expression of identity. So this dream is saying that if you have your heart open to a space, to the point that you are, what's the best way to put this? I'm going to start this again. It's about having an open heart so that you can help other people open their hearts or discover what's in their hearts so that they can be passionately pursuing whatever it is they want to pursue and not be focused and trapped in their heads about what they don't have, focusing on what they don't have. So moving out of their heads away from that kind of a limiting train wreck that can go on in the head, when you focus on what you don't have or what people around you don't have, instead of focusing on what you do have and what you can do from where you are and how you can express what you want given where you are. So moving into the heart space, that the dream says that that's what you're about, is getting people into that, getting them into a space where they're able to forget that scarcity, forget what they don't have, and focus on what they are passionate about. And the beauty in the dream is it says that if they get into that space and don't focus on the other thing, they will get the abundance. So it's kind of like the way to get that is not to be focusing on the lack of abundance, but to focus on the others. Does that make sense? Am I explaining it correctly?
Yeah, and I have evidence of that in my own life when I'm trying to manhandle things and force things to happen, and it comes from the money standpoint. It's like constantly elusive. When I do come from my own heart, and especially because my core focus is really with at-risk youth. So when I focus on that, it's like things come to me. And unexpectedly, it's not a direct impact of giving to the at-risk youth. It comes from other sources. So I can only confirm that from my own experience, but I forget it. So I guess this guide came to remind me of that.
Well, there's a couple of things in here. First of all, can you explain what at-risk youth is?
Sure. I do a lot of work here in San Diego with former foster youth. So kids that have grown up, without a lot of love and support, maybe without the family, and also really most of them live below the poverty line.
Okay. So what the dream is saying, well, what your guides are adding to this dream is that you're here to create ambassadors through the people that you work with. So has that already happened, that people that you've helped have like broken out of the mold of where they would typically end up going because of their upbringing, and gone on then to help other people, or at least through being an inspiration, have helped other people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't take full credit for it, but I have one young woman that I mentored now that already has her master's degree, and she really is about supporting other people on their journey so they can have a better life. So she is an inspiration, and she's also helping people too. So I wouldn't say they're necessarily my ambassadors, but they are spreading the inspiration for sure. Definitely.
Ambassadors is the word they're using. And I think when we look at your next dream, it'll probably make a bit more sense. Then there's a part of the dream, it seems to change. I'm going to come back to this dream actually. So let's have a look at your next one. You say, and it's really short, you say, I remember riding on a horse with a group of people like a parade. Now, a parade is about identity. You think about any parade that exists on the planet, it's always about expression of whatever it is who set this parade up. Is about, like St. Patrick's Day is all about the Irish, it's
can't forget that.
but that because it's nearly coming up. But that's what a parade is about. So it's about your identity and who you are. And the dream is saying you are holding a flag/banner, and you appear to be the leader of a group. So you are a spiritual leader that works with groups. Again, we can get into what you do. But you're a spiritual leader who works a group. Would you recognize that you're a spiritual leader? Yeah, you must do. You have to. I'm not even going to let you answer that one. But riding on the horse, how many people were on horses? Was there a number of people, or was it just you on the horse?
There were quite a few people on horses too.
Okay. So do you do anything else in the spiritual field? Just curious. Do you do like hands-on healing, for instance?
Well, it's interesting. I will answer your question about the spiritual leader, because I do feel like it's something that I've had to learn to embrace, because there was a deep fear of mine. I don't know if it's past life fear or what it is, that to really come out of the closet, so to speak, as a spiritual leader. I went the traditional path with the master's degree, worked in corporations. So there was like a piece of me that was afraid to say I'm a spiritual leader. So I'm learning to embrace that I am a spiritual leader. And ever since I've had children, I'm now 49. So when I had children in my mid-30s, that healing ability actually has been coming through me. I've always had strong intuition, and I hear, see, feel, know things, but it's been coming through stronger, especially in my 40s as a healer. And it generally happens in a romantic relationship where I'll get guidance of lavender or herbs or some kind of healing on an injured part of the body, I'll be given direct communication on how to heal that.
And you also have an ability to channel energy through your hands, through your body and out through your hands. Have you felt that energy?
Yes. Yeah. With my partner, I actually felt almost like a bolt of energy come through me, through my hands to his ankle that he hurt. He felt it was like a bam thing came through us. That's
cool. That's what all the horses represent in your dream. They're a symbol of power, and anyway, that's what they mean.
They do? Wow, cool.
So it's good. So because it's a parade with the horses, you've got to accept and acknowledge that this is part of who you are. And this then is going to link in with the other work that you do where you help other kids. So you're going to be able to heal them of traumas, blocks that they have, etc. But you can do it by lifting their energy up, just by being in your presence, but you can directly do it by using your hands and like even putting your hands on their shoulders and so on. So it's that strong energy really lifts people up. It can, like, evaporated depression. It can get people just out of the darkness that they're stuck in enough to see what the rest of what you're saying and how they can start to grasp onto that. So it makes sense to me that you would have the two of these coming in together. Anyway, holding the flag and banner and being the leader is really cool. And I can connect with what you're saying about having to embrace the spiritual leadership. A lot of people who are spiritual leaders, it works through female energy, by the way, which is all about being compassionate and open and receptive and listening. Not the type of leadership that we are typically accustomed to. So it's like seeing somebody's pain, seeing what they need, understanding what they need because you've heard them and feel what they need, and helping them from that perspective, but helping them so that they don't need your help anymore. And that's not like to get rid of them, but it's to empower them so they can help themselves from that point on. It's the teach somebody to fish metaphor as opposed to giving them a fish. And a lot of people I've seen in the past, over the years, people who have that ability, they tend to feel for a portion of their lives, well, who am I to even think that I have that ability or even the right to say to somebody what it is they need to do? But it's all because it works through female energy. It's not the kind of like in your face, bold, look at me, I know the answers kind of leadership. It's very open, receptive, and you can feel the other person's pain. But anyway, you've got it. You get karma if you don't use it. It's the opposite of what you're thinking. So you would be thinking, well, what if I do it and I get it wrong? There's no problem. If you try it and you get it wrong, and you won't, but if you don't try it is when you get the problem. That's when things go wrong for you. Anyway, you say we were clearly moving away from destruction behind us. It looked like people were sinking into an abyss. I remember thinking I should go back and help, but realizing they had a choice to come with us. And I remember thinking it wasn't my role to go back and save them. So that's really good. So how does this relate to your life? Do you feel like you really want to get in there and help all these at-risk kids? And how does the dream message of saying, look, it's not your role to go save people. It's your role to lead people who want to be saved. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And thank you for... that just made my heart sing and made me really teary when you said about the part of being able to heal them, because I really never thought of it that way from an energetic standpoint, because I've been using my head a lot in it too, and talking to them, obviously feeling them from a heart space, but I never really thought about it from an energetic space. So I have been transitioning out because I used to think that it was my job to save everybody. It was my job to fix everyone. And I do feel that the transition now is happening, that like you use the word empowerment, like they have to first make the choice that they have to want to save themselves. And then I'm here to help them through mentoring and supporting them to really get their life to a higher level. But it's not my job to go pull them out of the abyss. They have to pull themselves out of there and then walk with me. And like you said, I think that I have been resistant to a leader because I had to look at what I thought a leader was. And I thought a leader included being very masculine and arrogant and pushy and demanding. And that's not where I come from. I see myself of the people, whether it's a child or somebody that lives in poverty or somebody that's the king of the universe. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I feel myself with everyone. And there has been a reluctance to say that I'm some guru or have it all figured out, right? So I think that I naturally lead people by just being who I am, not having to put on any sort of performance or manipulate people to do anything.
Absolutely. And also with leadership, the correct type of leadership like this is, you would help two different people who appear to have the same issue, probably in different ways. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach leadership. It's what does this person need and in what order do they need it? It's very much tuned into the person. And so, like I said, it comes from the heart. And part of coming from the heart is the ability to allow people be where they are. If somebody is not ready to be helped, you can't help them. And it seems kind of counterintuitive, but the more open your heart is, the more able you are to see that somebody is stuck where they are and needs to stay stuck for a little while, rather than saying, but I know I can help them. I know I can help them. It's people are where they are because that's where they are. And your whole thing is about who are you? How would you describe yourself? How would you define yourself? What do you want in the future? Like, what type of occupation do you want? Why do you want that occupation? And then when you get them to explain it all, then drill down into it and say, now that I've explained all this, do your answers make sense? Do you still want that occupation? Is it really about the money? Or is it about you discovering who you are? Is it about you doing something that makes your heart sing? So that's what you're about, is getting people to that space and also getting yourself to that space. And that's why I said ambassador. So the guides are saying you're an ambassador, you're going to create ambassadors that are going to point back and say, this is what helped me, and they're going to point back to you. And so whether you're a reluctant leader or not, you're going to be seen by others as a leader. And then if we jump back to your first dream about having the palace and all this magnificent theatre and everything like that, the dream is saying that you can have a sanctuary where you can bring kids to give them an escape. And this is, it's not about, okay, but they're going to have this escape and then they're going to go back to the same world that they were in before. It's kind of, is that kind of like a slap in the face? And it's not, because it's what you do in that space is what's important. What you teach them in that space, or what you allow them to get a grasp of, because then when they go back, they're different people. But they're probably going to need to come back to you a number of times, to recharge their batteries or regain their focus or whatever it happens to be. And so that's the sort of space that I think your guides are saying is going to be in your future, or can be in your future if that's what you want. But you'll get it if you're doing it just from the perspective of, with my heart open and with me helping and creating these ambassadors, this is what we need, this is what would be great, as opposed to, if I get all this, then I can help the people. Do you know what I mean? It has to be the other way around. It has to be heart first.
That makes total sense. And it's just amazing how you're confirming so much, because I have, the vision I had was this Passion Purpose Academy, which was really like a retreat center for young people. But I also see their family involved, because, a lot of this is breaking that cycle of poverty and scarcity, right? And so a lot of the youth that I work with too, their parents are from other countries, right? And so maybe they don't speak English, and there's no accident, right, that I speak Spanish too. So I think it's getting the whole family healthy and providing that retreat, because I work with both adults and kids. And so I do eventually see this retreat for families together to heal and to thrive.
Okay, excellent. I didn't know that you had that retreat center already.
No, I don't. It's just a vision.
Oh,
but
okay.
You just confirmed it.
Great. Well, your dream did. Great. That's fantastic. Now here's what's really good. You say, I was on a white horse, and of course the knight always comes in on a white horse. I had a white gown. So white in this context is about faith, having faith and confidence. White is Normally in dreams, when you see it on its own, it's a very negative symbol. It's about being critical and self-critical. Now, maybe you have a bit of that too. But here, the emphasis is really, because of the context, the emphasis is on purity and perfection and faith. So it's a really good thing. And that's presumably what you're trying to instill in the kids that you work with, to have this faith and confidence that the future that they're aiming for is something that they can achieve just once they keep their focus on it. Then you say, I believe I had some sort of crown. So that's your spiritual leadership again, in a little bit more of an obvious way. And the reason it's a crown is because our seventh chakra, the crown chakra, is our spiritual center. And the crown that kings of old and all wore, the original ones used to have points and stars off them. And it was all to emulate the brightness of somebody's aura who is spiritually open and the crown chakra is shining. So that's why the seventh chakra means that. The number 7 even in a dream means that, because of the seventh chakra. But the crown symbolizes the spiritual leadership, which is great. And then you say, and this is really, really important, I do remember some sort of emblem or badge above my heart. So that the heart is huge for you, and the badge or emblem above your heart, it's almost like, this is my secret society badge, and this, except it's not a secret, and I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to wear it openly, and anybody that works with you can wear it openly, So it's the heart is where it's at for you, and that's really good, as opposed to the head. I remember there were a lot of young people riding with me. We were heading under an underpass that led us to a hill where there was a lot of light. So again, this is how I knew it was kids, because you say riding with a lot of young people, they're with you. And then the underpass to a hill where there's lots of light. So you're bringing them to the light. And the underpass, of course, it's not the nicest way to get to somewhere. But anyway, you're leading the kids to the light, which is perfect. So the heart is the big thing. Then go back to your first dream. So now we know what the retreat center is for, and that's really good. I thought for a second you already had it, but that's really cool.
Maybe it's already there, we just don't know yet.
Well, you just need to make it manifest in the physical world, but that's really good. And of course, the dream shows it in great opulence and so on, but it doesn't have to be. It's more about what happens in the place, and it's the expression of culture, and this is what all the mosaics and everything is about. So it's not like nobody is in it to express the American way. They're there to express their way. So you said that you're working with kids from different countries, and that fits in even better, because it's all about them expressing themselves, as opposed to learning and adopting something and then expressing that. It's about expressing themselves. And of course, for everybody, it's always going to be an interweaving of my new culture and my old culture, and that's what I'm going to express. But that's really good, and that's what the mosaics are about. You say in the first dream, she then took me to a bookshelf in the theatre and was looking at all of her books and deciding which ones she wanted to give to me, and she picked 2 books. I remember one had a cottage and was on a farm or in a field, and it was something to do with healthy alternative living. And another one was a small inspirational book, not sure what it was. So you're all about inspiration, giving kids inspiration, and I don't know how you do it, but that's what your thing is, and that's what the guides are saying. You're meant to be an inspirational model for these kids. And is that how you see yourself? Do you see yourself as an inspiration?
When I share my own challenging childhood and how I've overcome so many obstacles, I know that they see that as inspiring. And I always do it from a humble place. Like I always tell them I'm still figuring it out, and I said, I'll share with you what I have learned. And I'm always continuing to be a learner of life. And it's so interesting, all those pieces that you put together, because when I do work with people, I always say, let's weave your life and your journey together at your career, and how do we put together the pieces of your passion puzzle? And so if you ask me, like, all the things that I'm passionate about, culture is really important to me, because I was an exchange student for a year to Australia, lived in Spain. All my work before kids was all over Latin America, and I see so much value in cross-cultural experiences. So even part of that retreat center, I actually don't see it in one location. I want to give at-risk youth the opportunity to be able to travel to other countries and experience other cultures, because I think you learn so much about yourself when you're outside of where you grew up.
The guides are saying you're going to get it, and you're going to get sponsorship or something like that to do what it is you're looking for. But how that happens, I do not know. Well, let's have a look at this other one. Another dream. I was in a job interview. It was a panel of people around an oval table. My friend was the interviewer. A few people walked in during the first question she asked and the introduction of the interview, where I couldn't hear what she was saying. And I remember I tried to wing the answer. I knew it wasn't right, but felt I needed to say something. I saw her after the interview and she said, "It was great to see you interview. You did an awesome job, except the first question." I said, "I know, I couldn't hear what you said, so I did my best." I said to her, "I really should have asked you to repeat the question." And she said, "Yes, that would have been a good idea." So is this somebody you know in reality?
Yeah, she's actually a former client of mine.
Okay.
And a friend now.
So what are her traits? What would be her positive traits?
She's actually an at-risk youth that grew up in Appalachia in Kentucky, and she rose above poverty, went to college, and she is that example of what we just talked about, that she inspires other people now to really rise above their challenges and be their best self. So that's her. She has a lot of courage and a giant heart.
Okay, brilliant. So it's good to see her. In your dream, would you say that you share the size of the heart that she has, or do you hold yourself back? Now, this dream is, it's recent. It's recent enough. Is there something gone on recently where you were holding yourself back?
I think I've just been really aware. Growing up on the Jersey Shore is a bit rough, right? So I've had to lose that edge a little bit, and I think feel safe enough to be in my heart. So I've been really practicing that to live, because I feel like she doesn't have a lot of walls up. She lives in her heart. So I've been practicing putting down my walls and being more authentically me, which is in my heart.
Okay, that's perfect. And that's what she would symbolize for you. But an interview is a good thing in a dream. It's just like an exam. So it means that you're ready to move into a new stage of consciousness. So like an expanded stage. And then this is what you have to do. Get more in your heart, if that's even possible. Of course, it's always possible. But get more in your heart. And don't be distracted by other people, because that's what happens in this dream. So that's why I was asking, has anything gone on recently that has distracted you from following your heart and staying true to your heart? Because in this dream, it's all about the feeling. This particular dream is about the feeling. So when you were winging the answer to that first question, you knew you weren't being authentic, or whatever the feeling was for you. And that's what the dream is saying. Don't let people distract you to the point where you get that feeling. Does that make sense?
Well, you're the third person that's told me that, including a shaman and my intuitive person I work with. So I'm paying attention. I will not get distracted. Okay. It's so funny. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because I've heard that. And I have been very aware, because I can easily go down that rabbit hole. But now I have enough awareness to pull myself back. So thank you again for the reminder.
But the second part of this is the feeling. So when you feel a feeling, because feelings are like our barometer, they're like our inner GPS that tells us what is, whether we're on the right path. So when you get distracted, you will get the feeling that says you're moving off center. So that for you is the red flag to say, no, I need to stay true to what it is I want to do. So if somebody was to say to you, look, I'll give you all the money you need, but I want you to do this. If it's not going to allow you to be true to yourself, then you have to say, no, I'm not going to take it. It's that. So a distraction can be anything. It can be somebody telling you to do something that really you shouldn't be doing, because that's for somebody else to do. You're not here to solve all the world's problems. You're here to solve the problems you came here to solve. And, that's how it works. But, all right, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything that I had marked. So I hope you got something out of it.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. Wow, I had no idea. Now I understand your work better too. So I would love to, I'm excited to share about you too. I actually interview people on what their passion plus purpose equals world change formula is. And if you're interested, I would love for you to share your story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's so fun. Thank you, Michael. I'm so grateful to Amanda. When I told her that dream, she's like, you need to tell that to Michael. She's like, he's the best dream interpreter ever. So I see what she's talking about, but it's way bigger than that. Thanks for all your wisdom and knowledge. And clearly you're tapped in and channeling and have access to so many resources as well. So I feel very blessed and abundant.
That's it for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like and subscribe on YouTube. You can see from Marcy's reaction the benefit that the insights from having a dream analysed gave her. If you're interested in having your dream analysed, please send them to radioshow@dream-analysis.com and indicate that you're happy to have the dream analysed in a video or audio interview. I do also do courses all the time. There's courses coming up in March and April. If you're interested in that, go to dream-analysis.com for all the details. But that's it for this week. Thanks for watching as always, and we will see you next time.
Hi, I'm Ann Tucker, and I'm the founder of Wisdom Soup. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Michael Sheridan. Michael is one of the featured teachers on our new Wisdom Soup app, which is designed for people who want to develop their spiritual gifts but haven't been able to find the just right mentors and teachers or the social support that they need to really break through. We're going to be launching the app this summer at the Wisdom Soup Spirit Summit, which is going to be in Los Angeles on June 2nd. And it's going to be hosting it in a beautiful venue right in Hollywood. The plan for the day is to offer you a range of experiences to really help you jumpstart your own spiritual growth. So there'll be workshops such as one on dream interpretation with Michael Sheridan. We'll be talking about channeling. There'll be an inner child healing, a group healing, a sound bath. There'll be discussion tables where you can talk about your favorite topics. And there'll be a chance for you to practice your own intuition in guided sessions. Now, since you're a member of Michael's audience, I'd like to offer you a special gift. With the discount code WISDOMSOUP, you'll receive $25 off of the price of admission. Tickets are on sale now. They're at wisdomsoup.eventbrite.com. And you can find out more about the event at wisdomsoup.com, as well as more about the app, which will be available in the App Store in April and in Google Play in May. So I hope to see you at Wisdom Soup Spirit Summit. It's going to be an amazing day.